King of the Pit. Before we get started, please hit that like and subscribe button down there. I really appreciate your support. All right, guys, we're gonna do a borough hop today. We're gonna head on over to Queens, New York. I got a thrashcore band out there that's absolutely bringing it to the table, baby. These guys are unbelievable. We got the opportunity to sit down with Marielle, and she gave us the lowdown of all the happenings in New York City. And let me tell you something, this is a great show for you guys who are out-of-towners and want to know everything about New York. Their name is Body and Blood, and they're my next featured guest today on King of the Pit. Let's go, baby!
I'll start from the beginning. Thank you to King of the Pit for having us on and giving us this opportunity to talk a little bit about ourselves.
Nice. Well, to start, tell the world who you are and share a few words about your band.
Okay. Well, we are Body and Blood. I am Marielle. I am a guitarist for Body and Blood. We are based at Queens in New York City. We're kind of hard to nail down, but I would say like we're mostly definitely rooted in death metal. We got elements of deathcore. I think maybe mainly deathcore, but it's some metalcore in there, mellow death, some progressive types of elements. We really just kind of throw it all in there. I would say though, if you wanted to paint in broad strokes, deathcore. Yeah.
How long have you been together? How did you start?
Well, we've been together, I would say we started getting together about 7 years ago, but due to the pandemic, I think we really only started about 5 years ago, for real. How we actually started, came together was kind of a fluke. I had a bunch of material that I had written over years and years, and whatever bands I was in at the time, I never really picked up those particular tracks. So I just had some stuff laying around that I wanted to record and make a studio album out of. And I was in touch with this drummer that I had previously played with. And so I reached out to him and I was like, I got all this stuff. Do you want to, put some drums to it? We started getting together, started bringing friends to the studio for studio jams. And right around the time that we started getting a vocalist in to write the vocals for everything, we were getting a lot of pressure from our friends, like, yo, you should play some shows, you should actually put like an actual band together and do something that would be really cool. And I think we were just having so much fun with it that that's exactly what wound up happening.
And now, heavy metal as a genre, it keeps growing and changing. What makes Body and Blood unique or different? Why should people listen to you?
All right, so like these songs so far, they kind of span over 15 years, and like with constant like rewrites and reiterations and like collabs from like different musicians who have come in at different times and like added their input or whatever it is. These songs really do have like a unique value because the people who are playing them now are not really the people per se who are involved in like their making, their creation. So yeah, they have an ownership in the evolution, and which I think kind of makes it part of the, part of the current sound. But I think what does kind of set us apart and I guess make us unique, so to say, is that they have all that. You have all this input, you have this evolution over so many years, and I think like for that, like people keep telling us like it's like super, like the songs are like refreshing to them, and I think that's such a compliment because I think it speaks more on the state of how modern extreme metal, like even though it's like evolved a lot, it's become pretty like, I want to say like homogenized in a way. It's like very polished. There's a package, there's a formula, and I think when something becomes super successful, that's just kind of what happens. And a lot of the more like riskier kind of people who are like kind of reaching a little bit further, they get forgotten after a while. And so we kind of nerd out, we kind of do our own thing, and I think if people were just trying to be polite, they would say like, oh, this is interesting, or how artistic or whatever, but the word refreshing tells me that enough of the music is different, but enough of the music is familiar and it resonates already. So I think if you like to have fun, I think you should throw on some of our tracks and let us know what you think.
And then what's the scene like in your area, and what are the pros and cons?
What's the scene like? What's the pros and cons? Okay, so the scene, it's very diverse. And it does have kind of localized pockets. So let me speak on that. Because I think we're gonna get into the pros and cons a little bit here too. What's really great about that is you have an opportunity to break into a new market within a half-hour to an hour drive, which I think is pretty unique to at least a big city area. And I think that's a total pro. What I think is kind of a con, though, is that these kind of almost insular, I don't want to call it insular because they really aren't too insular, but they're almost insular pockets. It's hard to bring somebody from, sometimes it can be hard to bring somebody from a half hour away. If I'm playing a show at one venue here in Brooklyn, and then a month later I'm playing a show at another venue here in Queens, I might not draw the same crowd, so maybe I would have to split those up. But I could also drive to Staten Island, the Bronx, or Long Island, and still not travel too far or drive too long, and have like a brand new market to break into. So, pros and cons on that. I think also like part of what makes our market unique, but also like a super pro, is that, well, so to speak, is that you have a lot of professionals that move here because you have a lot of, music work out of the city, obviously, acting work, performance work in general. So the people who come here and start local bands, they already have that either training, experience, like these people are their teachers, they are those people themselves, these people are their parents, they have that their whole life. So you are getting, in my opinion, people who are willing to bring it or actually starting to bring it at that professional level a lot earlier in the game. So I do find that like as a musician, when you branch out and you work with these people, you strengthen yourself as a musician. Your music, you have like all these awesome collaborations. So that's a big pro, I think. Also more opportunity to go outside the city. right? And I think that speaks to like the insularness as well. Like you have to kind of get out. You have, first off, you have like these little scenes, but then you have all these people who are producing music at a, like, I mean, some of these local bands are absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, you have to get out. You have to get out. It's harder to be seen. You have to work harder. So that could be a pro and a con, but I would consider that mostly a pro because I think it just makes you a better musician. It makes you a better pro in general when you want to do this stuff. What else would I would say? I think some of the cons. Oh, one of the biggest cons, and I think any band would agree, is the drummer shortage. It's a lot harder to practice drums in an apartment than it is in like a basement in like your house in the suburbs, you know. And so I think that could be a con, you know, just having to kind of search for members. I guess, yeah.
And tell us about your current releases. Is there any specific theme or story that carries through? What was it like recording everything, and what was your process around all of that?
Okay, all right. I don't know if there's like a current theme, really. Right now, we currently have 2 singles and an EP, and we are in the process of wrapping up another EP to come. There really isn't a specific like theme lyrically or anything like that like ties any of that stuff together, but there is a through line of style that comes through from our genuine attempts of like, you know, evolving and self-expression, and I think that that's kind of something that is cohesive throughout, which I will make more sense when you listen to the music for sure. But you know, we have really common interests and influences, and I think that really shows like when you hear the intent of the composition, it's super cohesive in that way. But I wouldn't say this isn't like a concept or something, although I would love to do a concept. So for the recording stuff, basically, we recorded almost everything in-house ourselves, except for the vocals on, well, this is for the EP, except for the vocals on From the Dead and Bury Them Deep. We did the vocals for Toads. I myself engineered that record with our bassist Phil. Him and I produced everything. The process of that was like pretty crazy because we really only had Sunday mornings to go to our studio. I was not in this home studio, so I didn't have the opportunity to work any other day. So we would like get together at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes we would stay to like 3-4 in the afternoon, and we would just be like, I don't know, like almost woodshedding. I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but we would power through all these different ideas we had. And at the time I was working so much overtime, I really didn't have a lot of time to practice. So I would go in and I had to learn to record this album almost cold, like riff by riff. And so we really the process for the EP in particular was really grueling. We really put ourselves through it. You know, at the time we were not really sure if we were going to continue to be a live band or if we were just going to release music for a little while. So we really wanted this to be like an effort. Like, we wanted to put something like forward that was like our best work, like our I don't want to say masterpiece because it's super cheesy, but like, you know, so like just like we wanted to like put everything into it. For the 2 singles though, like for the first single, we worked with some friends of ours. And for the second single, we worked with some other friends of ours. But I think right now, what we have going is better. We produce and record, engineer everything in-house, and then we send everything out to our engineer, Chris Drapeau, who is absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, I think he really understands what we're going for. And I think a lot of times with engineers, especially ones that are, heavily into production, they always want to kind of color it through their eyes. And I think it's, for this band, this project in particular, it's super, super important to have somebody who understands what we're trying to do, because it is kind of different in its own thing.
And tell us about any upcoming music, where we can find your catalog, what you got going on for the rest of 2026 and beyond.
All right, well, 2026 is a pretty quiet year for us. We got a couple of shows going on this summer. We've got one coming up on August 8th at Lucky 13 Saloon in Brooklyn, New York. We're playing a lot of really cool bands. After that, we might try to get one more in before the end of the year, but the focus now really is going to be on getting this EP finalized. Should I leak the name? Maybe. No, I'm not gonna leak the name. I'm not gonna do it. I have notes here from my bassist, and it's muddy if I should leak the name. But yeah. I really want to get this stuff done. We've been kind of sitting on music for a while, and we've just had, we've had some member changes come in, and so we've really had to focus on that more than anything. And so that's what I think is going to be for the rest of 2026. And for 2027, I think it's going to be a little bit more active in that sense. It's going to be a little bit more release heavy. We would like to get on the road and start getting outside of the city this year, or next year, I should say. And and so I think this year we're just going to be finishing up all the media and stuff like that involved with the release and having fun. And look, if you want to come check us out, you can find everything that we've done, everything that we're doing on our website. That's at www.bodyexploit.com. It's got the music, it's got the shows, it's got the really cool merch that I'm wearing right now. And you can stream everything on whatever you stream. Deezer, Tidal, Sploot, Zigzag.
Some of our audience here, I think, that are going to want to get to know you better. So, what do you want them to take away from this interview?
I mean, I don't know how much you're going to get from this interview, but I will say this. Come to a show. Come have some fun. Check us out on the interwebs. And just come meet us. Come hang with us. We're chill people, and come take home some memories. That's it.
Nice.
And